Hi, my name's Michael and I'm a dietitian working at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in Brisbane, Australia. So we know healthy eating, it's important for everyone. It helps prevent chronic disease, makes us, supports our gut health and bone health. But I guess for people with bleeding disorders, it's important for three key reasons. The first one is sort of maintaining a healthy weight. And one thing to think about is joint health. So for extra 5 kilos of extra body weight, that puts an extra 10 to 20 kilos pressure on the joints. And so we know that this extra weight over time can lead to increased joint bleeds, increased pain, difficulty moving around, so that difficulty with doing your day-to-day activities. Another point with maintaining a healthy weight is supports ease of venous access. So we know that for some people, if you're at a higher weight, it does make home or self-infusion a little bit harder. And lastly, we know that particularly people with severe haemophilia, they are at higher risk of loss of muscle mass due to some concerns around engaging in physical activity. But this is changing with better treatments. So it's really important to maintain a healthy weight, support your muscle mass, retain your strength so you don't fall over when you're older. So the second key point is that a healthy balanced diet can mean that you're getting all your adequate vitamins and minerals to support blood replenishment and wound healing. And one particular nutrient of interest here is iron. So women with bleeding disorders are at particularly high risk of heavy menstrual bleeding. So in these cases, doctors should really be checking the iron and looking at supplementation or iron infusions if needed. But across the board, everyone with a bleeding disorder doesn't need to start any dietary supplements. We take a food first approach. Then these supplements can be a bit of a backup if you're not getting enough from your food. And I would just say take caution with some of the herbal and vitamin supplements and chat to your doctor because some of these can impact your bleeding risk. And the third thing we know about why healthy eating is important for people with bleeding disorders is there is higher risk of anxiety and depression when people are living with a lifelong illness. So this general healthy eating can really support your mental well-being, and there's these really strong links between the brain and the gut, and so healthy eating can really support our mental health and make us feel good. And so if you want to lose weight or make a change to eat healthier, it is tricky because we're all busy. We live in a world where there's so much sort of heavily processed, cheap, calorie-dense food around us. So we know it's not easy, but I would say the best thing to do is start small and gradually build up momentum. So I find the biggest thing that often goes wrong is people take this all or nothing approach. They try to change everything overnight, and it just leads to them sort of falling off the bandwagon, going back to what they were previously eating, and then trying to start again, the next Monday. Whereas a better approach is change one thing. For example, say if you're wanting to have more dairy to support your bone health, perhaps you start doing that 2 or 3 times a week. Treat it as an experiment. I think another important thing is making a plan. So actually think about, okay, I want to increase my dairy to support my bone health. When am I going to do that? Will I have it as a snack? Will I have it before bed? And actually map it out. Then also think about what's going to get in the way of you actually achieving that. Because we all have busy lives, maybe you have kids, you have 2 jobs, and actually preempt what's going to stop you from achieving that. And come up with some solutions ahead of time. Maybe you leave some dairy at work, some sort of pre-portioned tubs of yogurt, something easy that sort of leads to success. So if you fail, and we know it is hard to make change, but I just say treat it like an experiment. If you've tried something and it didn't work, perhaps that strategy or that plan wasn't most suitable for your life. So I would say just treat it as sort of trial and error. Try it, and if that didn't work, try something else. Don't just throw in the towel and go back to what you were doing before. It's all about that small, gradual change, and that's a bit more sustainable in the long term.